And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So, however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big old Wednesday, and man, oh man, it feels good to be back. Sheesh. Missed the last couple of days here, but we are back to our regularly scheduled program, folks. So, from here on out, back noon Eastern every single day. Gotta love it. So today on the show, our final film study of the season. No. So breaking down kind of mostly the second half of that Super Bowl that we all watched. That I'm kind of disappointed in the Bengals overall, honestly, how they couldn't pull it out. They got out to such a hot start the second half. The big touchdown to T. Higgins that should have been a penalty, but no call. So, it does stand touchdown. And then you get the interception on the ensuing drive, and that was the time to really take off, but then they really kind of floundered the back end, and then that defense that has been so gosh dang good, locking up teams in the red zone in the second half, man oh man, when it came down to crunch time, they let it up. Eli Apple lets that game-winning touchdown go. So we'll break down the film in the second half, the mistakes by Joe Burrow. We've seen, and everybody's been calling him, cool, calm, collected. Joe Shiesty getting sacked 9 times in a game doesn't shake him, but the man was coming up a little bit small in the second half. So did the pressure get to him? There's one big time throw that this man missed, and I want to say it was probably second or third drive in that third quarter where it was wide open, and the man just shorts the ball like 2 yards when he's wide open. The receiver, Jamar Chase, coming back on the comeback route is wide open, and the pocket is clean as heck. So didn't take advantage. So super disappointed in the Bengals overall in their lackluster performance offensively, defensively in the second half. So we'll watch the tape, see how it looked. And that'll put a nice little bow on our 2022 NFL film study season. So we've got that today on the show. Got to break down the NBA from yesterday, and there are a few stories to break down and talk about. We got the final coaching hire in the NFL, officially official. We all knew what was going to happen, but it was officially official today. So we'll talk that through and see if that was a good hire or not. So a lot to talk about on the show. So let's just jump right into it, and let's start with the NBA from last night, and then after the NBA, we will shift gears to the NFL. So here we go, few games on last night, folks, and let's just start with the first one up here. Cavs at the Hawks, and the Cavs letting us down a little bit. This Cavs team, Hawks team, they were both kind of, a little bit streaky heading into this game, but Hawks got it done in the second half, and they win 124-116. For the Hawks last night, Trae Young did his thing, 41 points, 9 assists, absolutely magnificent game, shooting 4 of 7 from the 3, shot 59% on 22 shots. We will absolutely give that to him. We get Danilo Gallinari in the starting lineup. The man went for 25 points. No John Collins still, so they have Danilo Gallinari at the starting 4, and the man truly got it done. And then Kevin Huerter, a solid 13 points. We get DeAndre Hunter, 18 points. Coming off the bench, Bogdanovic still coming off the bench. And it's real interesting that they kind of kept Bogdanovic on the bench with John Collins out. So this is probably Bogdanovic's future here, just coming off the bench for this Hawks team, which we don't hate. I don't know if I necessarily love it, but 10 points, 2 of 6 from the 3 coming off the bench. Solid production from Bogdanovic, now a bench player for this Hawks team. But enough to get a nice win here, put up 120 plus points. We will absolutely take that. All right, and then for the Cavs, we get Darius Garland. He's healthy, all good to go here. And Karis LeVert still coming off the bench, but, they come up a little bit short against this Hawks team. And we need to see this Cavs team consistently start to kind of beat the upper echelon teams. And this Hawks team is sort of in this limbo space of being in the upper echelon or just kind of in that kind of tier 2 category. So little disappointed that the Cavs couldn't truly pull out this game last night. Darius Garland had a really solid performance, 30 points. points, 8 assists, shooting 4 of 10 from the 3. Definitely Trae Young-esque last night. Jared Allen, 14 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, solid game by him. Evan Mobley putting up 22 points, 10 rebounds. Dean Wade in the starting lineup, 8 points, but only on 4 shots. Kevin Love doing his thing off the bench like we always get, 21 points, 7 rebounds, always fantastic. But then Karis LeVert, 9 points off the bench, shooting 33%, 1 of 6 from the 3. I think I would like to see Karis LeVert in the starting lineup, put him at the 2. I could even put him at the 3 here. So we'll see what this Cavs team decides to do with Karis LeVert. We'll give him, a couple more games here for him to get acclimated to the rhythm and the flow of this team. But he's got to be in the starting lineup. We have to have a big 3 out here for this Cavs team. Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Karis LeVert. I'm not putting Evan Mobley in a big 3 just quite yet. He could be that great 4th option for this Cavs team. Absolutely. He's been fantastic this entire season, but I don't know if he's big 3 category just quite yet. The man's a rookie. We'll give him his respect for potentially rookie of the year, but I don't know if I can put him in a big 3 category. So we'll see what they decide to do with Karis LeVert here, but I want to see that man in the starting lineup at some point, and let this Cavs team truly kind of compete with the big dogs in the East and the West, and see what this Cavs team is truly made out of. So Cavs losing last night, alrighty, we're not gonna stop liking this Cavs team. This is still decent, competition up here with the Hawks. Just wish that they were the one that won last night. But give the props to the Hawks here. A little bit of a disappointing performance against the Celtics the other night on Super Bowl Sunday. But what we just saw yesterday from the Celtics, holy moly, they are truly the real deal. So good win for the Hawks, getting the win 124-116. All right, next game up here is the Mavericks and the Heat, and folks, we are done with the Heat. We rode that Heat wave. We talked about the big dogs, but ever since they really had that nickname, I think they were kind of playing into it a little bit, and they have just not looked the same overall, and they lose to the Mavericks 107-99 last night. So this Heat team, what made them so good was everybody stepping up. We get Duncan Robinson, 5 points, classic Duncan Robinson game, folks. He is super streaky, and I would have probably traded him at the trade deadline. This man is not consistent enough. He has one great game, everybody falls in love with him, and then he's back to shooting 1 of 5 from the 3 and being kind of, not a great offensive piece, and that's what this Heat team needs. They need offense. Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, they can provide offense. We've seen it. We know they can do that, but their game is to kind of facilitate the floor and look for the best possible play. They're not the, ball dominant, give me the ball and let me go to work. So then you pair that with PJ Tucker in the starting lineup, who we know, isn't, an offensive powerhouse. We get Bam Adebayo, who's kind of reluctant to be an offensive powerhouse, and that just leaves us Duncan Robinson in the starting lineup, and he only took 6 shots last night. So, oh man, this Heat team, folks, truly falling apart a little bit. No Tyler Hero last night. And we didn't get any big time step up from the bench last night like we're used to seeing for this Heat team. So Heat team no longer dogs. The kennel, they've all been put down. There is no more kennel there. So this Heat team, folks, we're selling them. They're not as great as we thought they were. Now they can still reclaim that. It's not like we're gonna write off this Heat team and never look back. They may be able to kind of reach what made them great, just a month ago. But at this current moment, folks, this Heat team, their bettability is tanking. Buyability is truly tanking. So unfortunate here. Let's start with the Mavericks since they got the win last night, and they get rid of Porzingis. Don't need them. They're just with the shooters. Shooters got to shoot, and Porzingis was keeping this team from shooting these outside shots. We get the Mavericks taking 41 threes last night. That is the difference. The Heat only took 27 threes last night, and the Mavericks made 18 of them. We know this is what the Mavericks game is all about, the outside shooting and just getting those shots up, hoping that a little bit of the majority fall, and if they do, they win the game. And that's kind of what we're seeing from this Mavericks team. So we don't like it, we don't love it, we don't really want to bet on it, but it's winning, folks. And the Mavericks were getting 5.5 points last night, so I think we're gonna have to start just betting on this Mavericks team, even though that we don't like watching this team and how they're winning, but it's winning at the end of the day, so who are we to knock that? So the Mavericks last night, we get Luka Doncic, 21 points, 6 assists, 10 rebounds. Not as explosive as Luka Doncic can be, but an overall a solid performance. We get Jalen Brunson, 19 points, 6 assists. Dorian Finney-Smith, 14 points on 4 of 7 from the 3. And then the bench for this Mavericks team, very well done. Davis Bertans, and they even bring in Davis Bertans from the Wizards, folks, their best three-point shooter from Washington. Now they have him at the trade deadline, so he puts up 12 points, 3 of 7 from the 3 off the bench. We get Maxi Kleber, who kind of plays the 4 or the 5. He's shooting 3 of 8 for the 3 for 19 points. It's tied for the second leading scorer for the Mavericks last night. So doesn't matter if you're newly acquired, a veteran on this team, a big, a small, whatever you are, you're gonna be shooting the 3. Mavericks live and die by the 3, and that's exactly what what we've been saying for like the last 2 weeks. The bigs truly taking over the league. The Mavericks are kind of being like, no, we're gonna go the 3-point shot, which was kind of the trend that the league was heading into during that kind of 2015 to 2017 stretch with Seth Curry and the Splash Brothers going manic from 3 every single game. The Mavericks are trying to do that to win the championship, so we'll see if that works in this kind of new era of bigs dominating. Mavericks are like, hey, y'all can go with the herd. We're gonna be the outliers here, and hey, it's working, folks. We've got to give this Mavericks team credit. They're winning games, and folks, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Are you winning games? Yes. Well, we can buy into you. We can bet on you and all that. And this Mavericks team currently are the 5th in the Western Conference at 34-24. Have a little bit of work to do if they want to kind of keep moving up. They're about 2.5 games back from the 4th seed and about 7 games back from the 3rd seed. So they still have their work cut out for them if they kind of want to move up a little bit in the Western Conference, but they're in the top 6, so a guaranteed playoff spot. Got to give this Mavericks team credit. All right, and then for the Heat last night, coming up a little bit small, we had Jimmy Butler, and, he had to be aggressive. He took 18 shots. That was the second highest, only next to Bam Adebayo. We get Jimmy Butler, 29 points, 10 rebounds. He got to the line 14 times, and that's what we know Jimmy Butler can do. So had to kind of take it upon himself to be the main offensive contributor last night. 29 points for the man. Then we get Bam Adebayo, 21 points, 12 rebounds, being aggressive. That's what we love to see by Bam Adebayo. And then the third leading scorer was Kyle Lowry, 13 points, 4 assists. Like we said, Duncan Robinson with the 5 points. PJ Tucker, scoring is not his game. We saw like a week stretch, like a 2-3 game stretch by PJ Tucker where he was putting up like 15 points a game, and everybody was going bonkers on Twitter like, what the hell is PJ Tucker doing? The man can score now. What? Well, now he's back to his classic game. We knew that wasn't going to really kind of last that long. And PJ Tucker, he's even kind of talking during that kind of 3-game stretch, and he was like, hey, this is, Milwaukee never let me do this. I always knew I could do this. Well, no, you can't do this because that was a 3-game outlier of you scoring all those points. Stop it, PJ Tucker. What are you talking about? And then off the bench, just nothing good. Once again, we get no Tyler Hero. So, we get Gabe Vincent back to, not being anything great. He shot 1 of 9 off the bench. Come on. Omer Yurtseven, 11 points, 8 rebounds. We'll give him credit for that. And then Max Strus, once again, 1 of 4 from the field, only 4 points. So what made this Heat team good, everybody getting contribution from the starting 5 to everybody playing off the bench, not just Tyler Hero. They're not consistent. So that will always get you. You gotta be consistent in this league, folks. One game outliers don't really impress us, and we try not to focus too much into those 1-game performances. That's why we break down the game every day and the stats and the points and see who are getting it done every game on a game consistent basis, and this Heat team letting us down. So Mavericks get the big old win here, 107-99. All right, now we go to this game, and Celtics absolutely dominant last night, absolutely blowing out the 76ers 135-87, 135 points to 87 points, and absolutely I don't even know what's the word. I was gonna say slobber knocker. Is this a slobber knocker, folks? Right here, Celtics winning 135-87. Jeez Louise, and you must be firing Doc Rivers right now. You fire Doc Rivers. He needs to be gone. How many times do we have to see Doc Rivers absolutely flounder with great talent? He's kind of the reason why Ben Simmons, forced his way out of Philadelphia because of coming up short last season. Doc Rivers not doing anything to boost his 76ers team. It was classic Doc Rivers, really, really good in the beginning, first 2 months of the season, because that's where, everybody's kind of, figuring out what they've got. So having superstars like Joel Embiid who can carry you the first month of the season looking fantastic, but once we work our way to the middle of the season, the back end of the season where everybody's starting to truly be good and every, team has got it figured out, the 76ers, they're always bad at the back end of the season. Why is that? That speaks to not good coaching. In this 76ers team, yes, they've lost Seth Curry and Andre Drummond at the trade deadline. So, this is what we've been saying. They're going to be a little bit lackluster because they've lost a little bit of depth. James Harden's not playing until after the All-Star break, so that's fine. We knew this 76ers team was not going to be fantastic after the trade, but to come out and look like this, get absolutely smacked by a rising Celtics team. We still give credit to the Celtics, and we will give them credit, but come on. There was no Robert Williams last night. It was supposed to be Joel Embiid's big game. It was Daniel Tice playing most of the game. It was Al Horford and Daniel Tice at the starting five. This was supposed to be Joel Embiid just having a 75-point night, having a Wilt 100 night. We should have had Joel Embiid after the game in the locker room holding up a piece of paper that says 100 points. That's what we should have got last night. But we got the 76ers not even putting up 100 points in total. 87 points. So this team is never prepared. Now when we get James Harden with Doc Rivers, that's truly not going to mesh, folks, at all. So you got to get rid of Doc Rivers. We bring in Georges Niang. This was supposed to be a huge pickup. This was supposed to be a home run hitter pickup for the 76ers team to truly kind of tie in everything. But Doc Rivers with Georges Niang is getting no great production from the man, folks. Last season with the Jazz was, Georges Niang's best season. Wasn't starting, but still coming off the bench and having a great night in 16 minutes. The man was averaging about 16 minutes a game last season with the Jazz, and he was putting up 7 points, 2 rebounds, and basically 1 assist. Overall, production, but it was with that stacked Jazz team. And now, when he goes to Doc Rivers, he's playing 7 more minutes. The man is averaging 23 minutes coming off the bench here, which is good. We love to see that. We want to give Georges Niang more action on the floor. But with 7 more minutes of action on a nightly basis, he's only putting up about 2 more points and like half an assist. That's what we get from the great Doc Rivers, the genius coach who everybody gushes over. Oh my God, Doc Rivers, one of the best coaches in the league. And now we're seeing that narrative crumble on a kind of yearly basis with Doc Rivers. So we get Doc Rivers not getting anything really more out of Georges Niang, but he's getting 7 more minutes on the floor. So we know Doc Rivers is not a good coach. He's only benefited from having superstars, a big 3 superstar roster with them. And now, once again, we're getting this 76ers team underperforming by miles, folks. Doc Rivers must be fired. The man is not a good coach, folks. That narrative is crumbling every game, okay? Always underwhelming, always underperforming. Get him out of here. Let's move on. He had his time with the Celtics. Congratulations. You won with the big 3. It's not that hard to do. That's what you need to win in this league. So, and you've tried to have big 3s and you've always underperformed. So what are we doing here? So get rid of Doc Rivers. The man must be fired now. So 76ers coming up absolutely big time small last night. Joel Embiid only 19 points. He led the team in scoring, 9 rebounds, led the team in rebounds. That told you how the night went last night. And then the only other player with double digits was Tyrese Maxey. Shout out to Tyrese Maxey. We give him love, but not efficient. He shot 27% on 11 shots. Not going to get it done. 11 points, 1 assist for him. So nobody steps up. We get Tobias Harris, 6 points on 28% shooting. Georges Niang coming off the bench, 9 points on 33% shooting. Furkan Korkmaz, 6 points on 28% shooting. Shake Milton, 8 points on 20% shooting. Doc Rivers, can you get your team in order, please? That was embarrassing last night. Absolutely an embarrassment Doc Rivers is in Philadelphia. You must get rid of him. All right, and then we get the Celtics, and big time credit to the Celtics team. Man, oh man, were they hot right from the get-go and kept it rolling. Jason Tatum, 28 points, 12 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, 29 points, 8 rebounds. Both superstars getting it done. Marcus Smart, how unfortunate. Now the Celtics may be in a little bit of trouble here. Marcus Smart is injured, folks. Potential ankle, but also potential ACL. Watch out for that. We'll see as more details come out, but the man's going to be missing some time. Marcus Smart, 7 points, 1 assist in his only 12 minutes that he played. But why this is such a big factor is because now, once again, their depth at the guard has disappeared. That's why we kind of like this new look Celtics team with Derek White, getting him at the trade deadline, because we were loving Marcus Smart. He was really coming into his own at the point guard position for the Celtics team. They got rid of Dennis Schroeder, kind of replaced him with Derek White, so they still had, 2 solid guards. But now with Marcus Smart potentially being out, we've only got Derek White. So, this Celtics team, they still are probably going to be good, and we're not writing off this Celtics team. But, man, oh man, their depth just went down with Marcus Smart being out. Let's see if we get any kind of updated news on Marcus Smart, on how long he's potentially being out. Surging Balta Celtics Celtics blast 76ers. Marcus Smart injured ankle. Yeah, they keep saying injured ankle. When I was watching it, I didn't really see an ankle. I know he stepped on the foot, but I think like the knee twisted. When I saw it live, I thought it was ACL tear. But it doesn't really seem like we have any. Yeah, I guess we're just saying sprained ankle. Is that it? Is that all we're getting? It's got to be a little bit worse than sprained ankle. The man tried to shoot free throws after it and was like knees shaking, missed both of the free throws, and had to get kind of carried off the floor. So they're just calling it a right ankle sprain. I don't know, folks. Are we sure about that? All right, we'll see. No news really kind of coming out. No timetable. Marcus Smart's upgraded for Wednesday. I don't know, that's a month ago. Why? When I click on news, why are you showing me something from a month ago? Do you think I care about his month ago ankle injury? No. Damn, so we'll see how long Marcus Smart's going to be out, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a blow. But we get Derek White in the starting lineup now at the 1, so I think I like that. So we'll see how that goes. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown got it done. Derek White coming off the bench, 11 points on 44% shooting. Shout out to Aaron Nesmith with 18 points, the young kid out there. So we'll see how this Celtics team continues to progress without Marcus Smart. But what a performance last night, winning 135-87. All right, next game up here is the Pacers at the Bucks, and the Bucks get the win. And man, oh man, this Pacers team keeps losing, folks. Bucks were on the back-to-back, and they still couldn't even win. Sheesh, man, oh man. Pacers, it wasn't Sabonis. We knew it just wasn't Sabonis. We knew it was just the overall team in general. And trading Sabonis for Tyrese Haliburton was not going to solve their problem of losing games. And we're getting that every game here with the Pacers after the trade deadline. So Bucks get the win 128-119. Giannis 50 points for Giannis, 14 rebounds, fantastic. We get Bobby Portis, who's coming down offensively the last couple of games, only 6 points on 21% shooting. Bobby Portis, was getting a big head there for a while with hitting all those threes, but coming back down to earth a little bit. He had 14 rebounds, so we still give him a ton of credit for that. Justin Holiday, 14 points, 8 assists, fantastic. Chris Middleton still putting up 19 points and 8 assists with everybody, putting up points like that. And then Linda Wigton, folks, gets it done, 12 points off the bench. So shout out to the Bucks, and Giannis, well rested and healthy. He didn't play 2 nights ago, so on the back-to-back he was a little bit fresh last night, and that's a 50-point freshness last night from Giannis, absolutely. And then for the Pacers, we get Tyrese Haliburton, 17 points. Why is that man not like commanding and demanding the ball? I would only have Tyrese Haliburton shoot the ball on this Pacers team. What are you, crazy? So 17 points, 8 assists for Tyrese Haliburton last night. He had 4 steals and 4 rebounds go along with that, so well done. But, I mean, you need to be like the 25-plus point a night scorer here. Take over the game. We get Buddy Hield, and this is great. Once again, in the starting lineup, 36 points, 8 of 12 from the 3. Buddy Hield, I mean, this man just wants to be noticed as a, splash brother. This man wants to kind of be the third splash brother that kind of got, adopted at birth and, is trying to get reunited with the Splash Brothers. But the Splash Brothers were like, no, we're not really sure that you're our brother. What proof do you have that you were adopted and separated from our family at birth? What do you got? And then he's like, hang on, I've got the 8 for 12 from 3. This is what you need to see. This is my documentation. I am your brother. So they're still, in a little bit of a feud of who's actually a Splash Brother or not. But Buddy Hield getting it done, which we'd love to see. 36 big old points. Goga Badazi at the 5, 12 points, 6 rebounds. Jalen Smith, 11 points. Shout out to the bench, Terry Taylor, 10 points, 9 rebounds. We'll take that. And Kiefer Skies, 10 points, 5 assists coming off the bench as well. So overall, a solid game by the Pacers, but once again, still coming up small. So I don't, what else can we do? Trade the entire team again? Didn't seem to work the first time. So we'll see if this Pacers team can get a win for the rest of the season, but I wouldn't really count on it. Bucks get the win, 128-119. All right, next game up here is the Hornets at the Timberwolves. And once again, the Hornets really can't beat anybody of any sort of caliber out here. It goes into overtime, but the Timberwolves get it done, winning 126-120. So for the Timberwolves, let's start with the big 3. Anthony Edwards, only 9 points. Anthony Edwards has been getting exposed offensively the past couple of games here, folks. 9 points on 1 of 6 from the 3 and 30% from the field. Man, oh man. Karl Anthony Towns, though, 39 points, 15 rebounds. D'Angelo Russell, 18 points, 11 assists. Absolutely fantastic. Not efficient, shooting 25%, but overall, we'll give him the credit. That's a little bit of Chris Paul numbers right there. We'd love to see it. So we definitely got to get Anthony Edwards back up to, the solid 20-plus points a night, being dominant, putting people on posters on a nightly basis. Shout out to Patrick Beverley for picking up the offensive slack a little bit with 15 points, 4 assists. And then Jaden McDaniels coming off the bench, 18 big old points, 2 blocks, 4 steals, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, getting it done in every facet of the game there. So helping out the Timberwolves last night. And then for the Hornets, still coming up small, still coming up short, not able to win games. No bettability on this Hornets team, regardless of how much Vegas loves this team. Stop it, Vegas. Will y'all stop it with the Hornets? Y'all did all right last night. The spread was Hornets +6. Timberwolves -6, and it was a 6-point game, so they were right on it. So Vegas is starting to kind of get the true value of the Hornets, folks. So we love when Vegas admits their wrongdoing and kind of corrects a little bit. So we give Vegas a little bit of credit there. So for the Hornets last night, LaMelo Ball, 22 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds. We get Terry Rozier, 25 points. Miles Bridges, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. Mason Plumlee, 14 points, 9 assists, 17 rebounds. So everybody in the starting lineup was pretty gosh dang good last night. And then off the bench, Kelly Oubre Jr., 11 points. Montrezl Harrell, who we love, 12 points, 7 rebounds, but still coming up a little bit short. And that's what we see by this Hornets team all the time. Yes, we can get some great performances, but they come up small. They still lose, and that's exactly what we saw last night in overtime. Timberwolves get the win, 126-120. All right, next game up here is the Grizzlies at the Pelicans, and the Grizzlies get the win, 121-109. Once again, this Pelicans team would love to see them, like with the Cavs, would have loved to see the Cavs beat the Hawks last night, would have loved to see this Pelicans team beat a very good Grizzlies team, but the Pelicans are just not quite ready to beat those kind of upper echelon teams. So still waiting for that, but we'll still give them, a little bit of a grace period, bringing in CJ McCollum. So we'll see if they can kind of get it all figured out, because the big 3 of Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas, and McCollum, I think should be doing a little bit better here, winning a little bit more games. So we'll give them a little bit of a grace period, but they got to start, turning it up, soon. We'll give them to the All-Star break. Really, after the All-Star break is really when every team is going to have to start, putting up the power to 100 and going after it every single game. And every single loss is going to be kind of, amplified after the All-Star break. So got to get it together, but we'll give every team a grace period, and then we'll go really hard on some teams after the All-Star break. But for the Grizzlies last night, no Ja Morant. Once again, no Ja Morant. That was a late game time decision right there. I mean, I'm talking about like 20 minutes right before tip-off, no Ja Morant. So another, Pelicans really should have won last night. But we get Tyus Jones at the one filling in, 27 points, 9 assists. I looked a little Ja Morant-esque, so we give that man credit. Desmond Bane at the 2, 11 points. Steven Adams, 14 points, 13 rebounds. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. with 23 big old points, 7 rebounds to go along with it. Some really solid production coming off the bench. DeAnthony Melton, 13 points, and Brandon Clark, 18 points, 8 rebounds. So everybody kind of picking up the slack a little bit with no Ja Morant. So that's great leadership and great coaching there by the Grizzlies to keep this team right on track without their kind of leader and heartbeat in Ja Morant. And then for the Pelicans, all right, here we go. McCollum, 30 points on 48% shooting. He led the team in scoring. We'll take that. 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Great overall game. Valanciunas, 19 points, 4 rebounds. Brandon Ingram, 18 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. So overall, the big three, the new big three for this Pelicans team, overall pretty solid. We get Jackson Hayes back down to the bench, all right. He put up 13 points, 5 rebounds on 100% shooting. We will absolutely give him credit for that. And then Willy Hernangomez, another solid performance, 12 points on 100% shooting as well. Jackson Hayes, 6 of 6 off the bench. Willy Hernangomez, 5 of 5 off the bench. Yes. So got to just lock up the defense a little bit here. And, I think everything else is going to kind of fall into place. So we're still keeping an eye on this Pelicans team. This is still an interesting team out here, folks. Bettability, we're not kind of crashing it just quite yet. We're keeping an eye on them. But they lost last night, 121-109 over the Grizzlies. And then the last game of the night here, Clippers at the Suns. And the Suns, all right, they, were dominant in this game, but, still kind of, making it a close game in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. So we'll like to see this Suns team kind of dominate a team and then keep it up and not kind of let them come back. We've seen that a little bit here with the Suns team, but they were still able to close it out, which is still a good thing. I mean, you need to know how to close out close games, even against bad teams, against good teams, against any team. Having a close game in the fourth quarter and having to kind of everybody lock in and be 100% good and clutch. I mean, that's hugely beneficial heading into the back end of the season, into the playoffs and all that. But we also want to see this, team take care of business against, bad teams like the Clippers. So still give the Suns credit here for the win, but, let's, not make this a habit of coming down to the wire, even against bad teams. But the Suns get the win, 103-96 over the Suns last night. For the Suns, we get Chris Paul, 17 points, 14 assists, classic game. Devin Booker, 26 big old points. DeAndre Ayton, 12 points, 12 boards. Mikal Bridges, 19 points, 9 rebounds. And then once again, the bench just coming up a little bit small. They need some depth ability here for the Suns. And I know no Cameron Payne last night, so that's definitely going to throw them off. So Cameron Johnson, 9 points. We had JaVale McGee, 8 points, 4 rebounds. And that was really it for their bench scoring. So still need the Suns bench to kind of, get it done. That's, truly going to determine if they kind of go all the way or not. We know Chris Paul and Devin Booker can carry the squad, but, in a 7-game series for, 3 to 4 series to try to get to the finals, it takes a toll on you. So we definitely need some relief here from the bench. So that's really kind of the only knock that we have on the Suns. Can they get that bench together and consistent to help out the great stars of, Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton? All right, and then for the Clippers last night, we had no Norman Powell last night, the newly acquired Norman Powell for the Clippers. So basically classic Clippers last night. Reggie Jackson, 14 points, but on 26% shooting on 26 shots. The man was not efficient at all, folks. 14 points, 8 assists. We'll give him credit for the assists, but got to be way more efficient, especially when you're taking 26 shots, the most by far for the squad, and you only put up 14 points. Your third leading scorer, come on, Reggie Jackson. You're better than that. We know you are. We had Marcus Morris putting up 23 points here, and he's probably the most consistent scorer for this Clippers team. Zubac down low, 12 points, 13 rebounds, and then Nicholas Batum with another solid 18 points. But just come up a little bit short here. Once again, no great superstar in this Clippers team is their biggest downfall, and they lose last night 103-96. Alrighty, that is all the NBA from last night. Now let's see what we have on tap for tonight's NBA to see if we can make a little bit of money. Wow. Tons of games on in the NBA. So let's see if we can find any great value. And I think we are kind of done with our facing our fears big spread, swallowing a big spread experiment. We wanted to do it for a week, but we kind of got thrown off whack for not having kind of like 3 shows in a row and all that. But during that period, we went 3-1, 3 hits on big spreads, 1 loss. We took one last night. We had a little bit of a primetime betting show. Didn't really go over well. We had our best bet, Marcus Smart over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists, and the man goes down in the second quarter. So that was classic. So that didn't hit, obviously, and that was our best bet that we found last night. So took a little bit of a hit last night, and we also threw in the Suns minus 13. They don't cover that, but that was on the back-to-back as well. We talked all through that and everything. But I think I'm ready to kind of call it that, we have confidence in betting the big spreads. It's not like we're going to be swallowing big spreads every single game and multiple every single night and all that, but, we do have confidence. We faced our fears. We know that we can hit off of big spreads, and we do know what we're talking about when we do swallow big spreads. So, that was a good thing to get outside our comfort zone a little bit, face our fears, and I would say it's a little bit of a success there, 3-1. I'll give it that. So I think we're good moving forward of swallowing big spreads when they look appetizing to us. So let's see what we've got on tap for tonight and see if we can make a little bit of money here in the NBA. So here we go. First game up, Hawks at the Magic. Hawks on the back-to-back and definitely staying away from this one. And that's exactly what we learned last night, folks, in our betting show. We were like, hey, Suns minus 13, we'll take that. Even though that the Clippers were on the back-to-back, we'll take it regardless. And what happened? The Clippers, they cover the plus 13. So we don't bet back-to-backs. That's exactly why. And we had live proof for y'all last night. So that's why we do not bet back-to-backs. Regardless, bad team versus good team versus bad team does not matter. We will not bet back-to-backs ever again, folks. So Hawks on the back-to-back, no thank you. Alrighty, then we get Nets at the Knicks. Nets at the Knicks, yes sir. Oh my goodness, Nets plus 4 against this Knicks team. Folks, do y'all not know that this Knicks team is our sponsor? And we get 4 points with the Nets. Nets plus the 4, that's all we need to see. We know that Kyrie Irving cannot go. We know Kevin Durant cannot go. Ben Simmons is not making his debut, and I still love the Nets plus 4 over this Knicks team, folks. Absolutely garbage this Knicks team is. Battle for New York, and they still won't be able to cover the minus 4. They're our sponsor for a reason. Did y'all just see him the other night against the Thunder, where the Thunder had no Luguentz Dort or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the Thunder were plus 9.5, Knicks minus 9.5, and what happened? The Knicks lost straight up, folks. They lost straight up to a depleted Thunder team. This Nets team depleted because no Kyrie Irving, because of, in New York, no Ben Simmons, no Kevin Durant. Nets plus 4, hammer it. They're our sponsor. Thank you for the Knicks of funding. The Knicks are single-handedly keeping this operation alive, folks. Do y'all not understand? Nets plus 4, give it to us. Yes, love it. There it is, Nets plus 4, betting on our sponsors tonight. All right, next game up here, Pistons at the Celtics. Celtics on the back-to-back, no thank you. Wizards at the Pacers. Pacers on the back-to-back, no thank you there, especially that Pacers team. No way. All right, then we get the Kings at the Bulls. Kings plus 6, Bulls minus 6. All right, we want to believe in this Kings team, absolutely, after the trade. But, we just saw them lose against the Nets in really bad fashion the other night. So, once again, Sabonis, Kings, Pacers, Halliburton, doesn't matter. They're not winning players. They can't single-handedly turn around a franchise themselves. So, Kings minus 6, Jeremy Lamb is game time decision. Terrence Davis is out. And for the Bulls, we get Javonte Green, a game time decision. And, the usuals are, no, Zach LaVine is out. He's not the usual. All right, so Zach LaVine out. So, definitely not going to swallow 6 there with no Zach LaVine. We can obviously count on DeMar DeRozan, obviously, but this Bulls depth a little bit concerned, especially when one of the kind of the big three are out. So we'll stay away from betting the Bulls -6 here tonight. All right, then we get the Blazers at the Grizzlies. Grizzlies on the back-to-back, no thank you. Then we get the Spurs at the Thunder. Spurs -8, Thunder +8 here. Wow, Thunder getting a little disrespected. +8 here. They just won in overtime against the Knicks. The Spurs team just got rid of Derek White. I think that makes them a little bit worse overall, I would say. I think everybody agrees with that. So the Thunder getting +8 is kind of appetizing, and I know the Thunder are trash, and I know if we take this, it probably bites us in the butt here, but let's see these ins and outs real quick. For the Spurs, we get Trey Jones, a game-time decision. For the Thunder, we get, who do we got? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still out. Luguentz Dort is still out, so they made it work the other night, but is that going to happen twice in a row? I don't know if I'm going to bet on that. I'll stay away from this one. No thank you here. All right, then we get the Raptors at the Timberwolves. Timberwolves on the back-to-back. We're staying away from it. Rockets at the Suns. Suns on the back-to-back. We're staying away from that. Suns -15. Nuggets at the Warriors. All right, Nuggets +5.5. Warriors -5.5 here. I mean, this Warriors team has been struggling as of recent, folks, just not being able to really win games consistently here. We know Steph Curry and Klay Thompson will do their things. That's not going to be the problem here. The problem is just winning, and especially having Jokic down low, all up in your grill with no good big down there. So Nuggets +5.5 is definitely looking a little interesting here. Monte Morris, a game-time decision for the Nuggets alongside Zeke Naji. And then for the Warriors, we still get Draymond Green out, and we need Draymond Green. He's their life force defensively for the squad. This Nuggets team, we got to give them credit, turning the corner here, being consistent. What do we got in their last 10? Are they like 7-3? 6-4. All right, 6-4 in their last 10. So yeah, I'm gonna take the 5.5 here with this Nuggets team. Let's keep riding this Jokic train, and we'll see once this Warriors team kind of gets back on track. That's fine, but during this little wave, I've got no problem riding it. Give us the Nuggets +5.5. And then the last game of the night here, we get the Jazz at the Lakers. Jazz -4.5, Lakers +4.5 in this Lakers team. Ooh, yikes. Everybody's good to go for the Jazz. Oh, we get Rudy Gobert back tonight. Oh, yeah. And I know Anthony Davis is going to be better than Rudy Gobert, but overall, for the Jazz, they're so complete. They have kind of their second leader. I know Rudy Gobert is not the best defensive big, especially on the perimeter and all that. So Anthony Davis will be able to kind of get his, but everything else for this Jazz team offensively should be clicking now that they have their full flow and full rhythm and full leadership with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. And I only have to swallow 4.5 here, folks. I think I love it. For the Lakers, LeBron James, a game-time decision alongside Anthony Davis, both game-time decisions. I'm sure they both play, but give me the Jazz -4.5. This Lakers team is not good, and this spread that Vegas has kind of set up here is kind of saying, hey, the Lakers are kind of good here, being +4.5. Stop that. Will y'all stop it, folks? I'll swallow the 4.5 here. Rudy Gobert back, and that's exactly what we've been waiting for the Jazz, so we'll swallow 4.5 here against this Lakers team. Alrighty, so this is what we've got on tap for tonight, folks. We got Nets +4, the Nuggets +5.5, and the Jazz -4.5. Alrighty, that is all the NBA we had to go over for today, so let's shift gears to the NFL. And before we get into the film study on the Super Bowl, there are a few stories and topics that I do want to touch upon, so let's see what we've got on deck. And the first one up here is finally all available coaching vacancies are officially official, folks. Because we get the Vikings are officially hiring Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell as their head coach. Once again, they already really had this down on paper, but Kevin O'Connell was in the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, and they kind of had to wait for that the kind of end for them to make it officially official. So, Kevin O'Connell, Rams offensive coordinator, is their new head coach for this Vikings team, and now this completes the list here. Let's get the Vikings. Here we go. We can finally complete this list of got the right guy for 2022. So the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, officially hired here. Offensive coordinator for the Rams, and, Kevin O'Connell, solid guy, offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons for this Rams team, went 10-6 last season, went 12-5 this season. He wasn't calling the plays, so, all right, it was Sean McVay calling all the plays, but the one benefit of Kevin O'Connell, he is offensive-minded, so, they do get bonus points for that. And what they also get credit for is, or what Kevin O'Connell gets credit for, obviously not the play calling, but for scheming Cooper Kupp open and getting that man open in the best. I mean, he won the Triple Crown, folks, wide receiver, and then he topped it off by getting Super Bowl MVP. So Kevin O'Connell putting Cooper Kupp in the right position to succeed and having the right plays for Cooper Kupp to succeed is the biggest green flag of Kevin O'Connell, because it's not like Cooper Kupp's production went down any throughout the season, folks. I mean, we've seen his stats. They're absolutely amazing. I mean, the man was putting up like 100 yards every single game while being the number 1 receiver. It's not like he was like a number 3 receiver here. So, he was getting lost in the shuffle. No. They knew, defenses knew that Cooper Kupp was going to get the ball and get the ball a lot infrequent, and they still were not able to lock him up. Once again, these were his yards yards a game for the entire year, folks. We're going to rally them off here. 108, 163, 96, 64, 92, then back at 130, 156, 115, 95, 122, 96, 129, 123, 136, 109, 95, 118. I mean, down the stretch, folks, to find like 7 games of the season at 100 or like 4 or 5 yards below 100 yards at the back end of the season when you're making that playoff push, when everything truly matters and is amplified under a microscope 100%, because there's less and less games to kind of make up for your mistakes. And what did Cooper Kupp do? 100 yards, no problem. And then we get into the playoffs, 61 yards, 183 yards, 142 yards, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl for Super Bowl MVP. So the fact that Kevin O'Connell was able to kind of keep Cooper Kupp fantastic, shout out to Sean McVay for calling the right plays, but shout out to Kevin O'Connell for giving him the plays and making Cooper Kupp, since he was the offensive coordinator, working with him every single day, making him and having him in the position to succeed. And when we look at the Vikings, they've got Justin Jefferson, who's a great talent. Took a little bit of a step back this season, but Kevin O'Connell working with Justin Jefferson, look out, because that man is going to be having an exceptional season this year. So that's probably the biggest green flag for Kevin O'Connell getting the job here. I mean, he made Cooper Kupp consistently, I don't even know the right word, folks. Consistently great. Like, I got to bring up our good old thesaurus here. Let me bring up fantastic in the thesaurus, because I can't just use fantastic, folks. That's too easy. I need something better. Tremendous, remarkable, great, terrific, enormous, huge, striking, impressive, outstanding, phenomenal, monumental. That's Cooper Kupp. He's monumental, folks. Monumental, and Kevin O'Connell made that man monumental the entire year. Regular season, early, middle of the season, regular season, end of the regular season, playoff game, 1, 2, 3, Super Bowl, did not matter. The man was monumental. Monumental. Yes, that's the word I'm going to use. That's exactly it. Made Cooper Kupp consistently monumental, folks. So Justin Jefferson should do the same. So we don't know if he can call plays, and we still don't know if he's going to be calling plays for the Vikings, but making sure these right guys, your best players, are going to be your best players on Sundays, that's a huge green flag for Kevin O'Connell. So we'll give him a green flag here at the higher offensive guy, and Cooper Kupp just kept getting better every single week. So we endorsed the hire here, Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings. What I don't like is that he still wants to keep Kirk Cousins, but hey, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. We know Kirk Cousins can do some good things. Just hopefully Kevin O'Connell reins in the turnovers and the unclutchability and kind of gets the best out of Kirk Cousins. So, once again, maybe we're singing Kevin O'Connell's praise next season for getting Justin Jefferson consistently monumental and then, getting Kirk Cousins good in the clutch when the games actually matter and not just stat padding. So, Kevin O'Connell, we give him the good old thumbs up, give the Vikings the good old green flag here. And that truly completes the head coach hiring for the upcoming season, folks. So one last time, since we've got our list filled out here, for the Saints, they got Dennis Allen. We don't love the hire because it is defensive, but he's been with the team, so that's a plus. No offensive identity in place is a negative, though. Once again, we don't really know what's going on offensively with the Saints team. Quarterback Alvin Kamara, I don't know if he's even going to be there. Michael Thomas says he kind of wants to come back, but how is that going to play out? So that was the Saints. Not the best hire, but overall a good defensive guy because he's been with the squad. The Bears, they got Matt Eberflus. We said that was the wrong choice. He's a defensive guy who is quoted saying building a foundation, and y'all know how we feel about that. If you ever say that boilerplate, building a foundation, hey, I just want to build a foundation here, you're instantly out of here. That is wrong thinking, folks. That is out-of-date boomer thinking. Stop with the foundation. And Justin Fields is ruined. Once again, you go from Matt Nagy, who ruined Justin Fields, to Matt Eberflus, a defensive guy who's going to pay no attention to Justin Fields, and they may not even have Justin Fields as a quarterback next season. So whatever you do with Justin Fields, he is absolutely ruined. And there goes, Matt Nagy's 100-step plan to get Justin Fields to win a game. Congratulations. The Broncos pick up Nathaniel Hackett. We said that was the right choice. Offensive innovative genius, we call them. Run and pass, perfect balance. Shout out to the Broncos. They've got everything in place to be good. Now if they get Aaron Rodgers, bingo, bango, that's going to be a great team. Dolphins hiring Mike McDaniel. We love the hire. Offensive mind, creative, thinks outside the box, and the leadership is there. Love everything about it. Giants bringing in Brian Daboll. We said that was the right choice. Smart offensive mind. Had success with Josh Allen. Daniel Jones got a little bit similar. And letting Daniel Jones have input into the offense. We loved hearing that from him. We get the Jaguars, Doug Peterson. We said that was the best hire, folks. They have the best guy. Doug Peterson is a winner and can make Trevor Lawrence a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Quote, leadership and tailored for Trevor. A little bit like what the Giants were doing with Brian Daboll, having Daniel Jones have input into the offense. The Raiders get Josh McDaniels. He's offensive-minded, which we liked, but the players don't seem to love the decision. We saw a lot of players kind of speak out about it and probably should have kept Bisaccia for one more year to truly see what this team's all about. And once again, good luck to Josh McDaniels of reigning in this Raiders team overall. Ooh, we see the city of sin is truly bringing out all the sin there. The Texans get Lovie Smith. We don't love it at all. Actually hate the decision. He's got experience. Congratulations. But another defensive guy that had an awful season this year with your team. Stupid. And you're going to neglect Davis Mills. Once again, Davis Mills getting better at the end of the year, but now defensive guy at the head coaching position. Davis Mills falls off the face of the earth. And what does Lovie Smith have that... oh man, what was the guy's name that they just got rid of? The head coach for the Texans, Will Culley. Will Culley, what upgrade is Lovie Smith over Will Culley? Because I saw Will Culley handle this season with, the best that I've ever seen, given all the circumstances, with the huge narrative around Deshaun Watson clouding the entire organization, and that was never once an excuse, and never once got in the way of what Davis Mills and the team was doing on the field on a weekly basis. So. All right, hate the hire there. And then the Vikings giving Kevin O'Connell. We like it, and we think Justin Jefferson can have a really great year next season. So that is the new coaching. The 7 teams needed a new coach. They got their coach, and we'll see which teams truly made the right decision and which teams did not. We'll revisit this list at the end of next season once everything has settled, once the Super Bowl next year has kind of wrapped up, and we'll see if we made the right calls here. And speaking of, revisiting lists, on Friday's show, we're going to have a little bit of fun here. We got our list of predictions that we made right before the NFL season. Took up 2 big old slides, so we'll see where we hit and where we went wrong on calling the entire season. I want to say we called Rams as the Super Bowl champions, and I also know that we said something maybe not great about Jamar Chase. So we'll see how all the rest play out, but I am really not looking forward to revisiting that Jamar Chase take, because that is, we all know that, yeah. All right, so we'll have that on Friday's show. Alrighty, next story up here, and what the hell is this man smoking? When did this man get a chest? When did this man start speaking with this man's chest? You better calm that down, acting like you won ring after ring after ring with garbage talent. Stop it, stop it. Because we get this, Mike McCarthy discusses narratives surrounding his Cowboys' future, saying, quote, "I never once felt that I was not going to be the head coach moving forward." Well, you should. You underperformed. Is nobody kind of pointing out the fact that this Cowboys team underperformed this entire year? Offensively, not quite defensively, maybe a little bit defensively in the playoffs, but overall, this Cowboys team underperformed. There's so much talent on this team, folks, and everybody's just kind of saying that this team had a good year because the defense made a ton of plays here and there, which I give them credit for. We love this Cowboys defense. We gushed over the defense. We gave the defense a nickname, Walk of Fame defense, and I still love that nickname. But overall, I mean, this was a lackluster team for what they had on the field. So, Mike McCarthy, why are you speaking so confidently? Oh, I was never worried. You should have been worried. If I was you, I would be worried. I would be worried that I was going to get fired every single week. What were you doing that kind of made you think that you had some job security with this Cowboys team? Always underperforming. What are you, crazy? So let's read his actual quotes here, because there's more, folks, and I think these are going to get wonky, and I think these are going to get a little crazy, but let's see what Mike McCarthy is truly saying and how much confidence he has in himself, that he's so confident that he was never going to get replaced this season. So here we go. Let's read the first lead up here to the first quote. Despite the seemingly unstable nature of his status, McCarthy told the Rich Eisen show on Tuesday that he's not fretting about his job, saying, quote, "I never once felt that I was not going to be the head coach moving forward. And frankly, I've been at this long enough that that's all I'm focused on. I'm the leader of this football team, and I'm about winning, and that's all I've ever focused on, and that's all I will ever focus on." You're the leader of this football team? You're the leader here? Because I think I can count 40 other people and players and coaches on that team that's more of a leader than Mike McCarthy. Will you stop Mike McCarthy and your whole leadership kind of narrative that you're trying to set around? I still will never let you live it down that everybody on the Packers were saying you were getting massages in your office while everybody else was downstairs on the field practicing. So stop with you're a leader. Stop that. That gets you can take any game footage you want and just watch the sideline and watch Mike McCarthy. The man is not a leader. I know Sean McVay, he's a leader at the head coaching position, and so don't kind of compare yourself to a leader here, McCarthy. I'm not buying it at all. And he says, I'm all about winning. Yeah, you underperform winning-wise. How many 13-win seasons did you have with Aaron Rodgers? Oh, 0. How many 13-win seasons has Matt LaFleur had with Aaron Rodgers? 3 straight. Okay, stop with the winning. You had a 13-win season with Brett Favre, never a 13-win season with Aaron Rodgers. So will you stop with the winning and the leadership? You're lying. You're a straight-up liar out here. Will you stop it? Let's continue with the quote, saying, quote, "Are these narratives unusual? Absolutely. I've never dealt with anything like this. Do I wish I didn't have to come on here and answer questions about it? Yeah, no doubt about it. I wish we were talking about something else, but it's part of our landscape." Then talk about something else. What else can you possibly talk about? Because it's not winning, and it's not your plan to win, and it's not your genius creative offense, because once again, the Cowboys offense lackluster for what they have. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke, and Tony Pollard. Why were you underperforming offensively with that? You're supposed to be an offensive guy. You're supposed to be the smart winning leader, yet underperforming. everywhere you go with great talent around you. I'm so done with Mike McCarthy. And y'all want to talk racism in the NFL? This is the prime example. The fact that Mike McCarthy has another head coaching job, that is racist. That's racist right there. I agree with y'all, all right? Jeez. What else do we get here? Another quote. Here we go. Let's read the lead up to this one. Jones recently caused more speculation regarding McCarthy's future in Dallas. During a Senior Bowl interview 2 weeks ago when discussing the return of defensive coordinator Dan Quinn as a viable fill-in in the future, Jones noted that McCarthy knows, quote, someday somebody other than him will be coaching the Cowboys. Those aren't exactly words of encouragement, but McCarthy called his relationship with Jones, quote, excellent, saying, quote, we talked about it. We talked about Dan's situation, definitely, and about Sean Payton's narrative also. The gist of the conversation is you and I are in this back-to-back. It's a partnership, and just focus on what we need to do moving forward. He made some personal comments about how he feels about it, but that's really for him and I. I'm very, very comfortable with our relationship and our dialogue. At the end of the day, we both want the same thing, and it's to win a world championship. The narratives are unusual, but at the end of the day, you've got to trust the relationship and the communication and the connections you have in our leadership group. All right, so he's feeling confident. We got two more quotes here, so let's quickly finish it off here. Last read up to the quotes. McCarthy admitted that narrative suggesting Quinn stayed in Dallas to take his job eventually might have irked him in the past, but the best thing for the 2022 Cowboys is the return of the defensive coordinator who helped turn around a previously struggling unit, saying, quote, Dan Quinn being here was very important to me and our organization, McCarthy said, saying, quote, Dan and I have visited long before he ever took a head coach interview, frankly, long before the playoffs even started, about how happy he is here. Obviously, when he took the interview and this narrative broke out and a reflection of the relationship that Dan and I do have, he just said, hey man, I'm not comfortable with this narrative. If you really feel like I need to take one of those jobs, just be honest. And we kind of laughed about it, and I just said, Dan, 10 to 12 years ago, I tell you, please get the hell out of here. I don't want to deal with this. But the reality of it is, I'm about winning. He's about winning, and the best thing for the Cowboys is for Dan Quinn to be here. So, all right, we'll see if Dan Quinn can once again, be good defensively, because that's the hardest thing to kind of replicate is great defense, great scheming defense, coaching, great defense, or just players playing great defense. Once again, Josh Norman, one good year as a corner, and then he's getting stiff-armed into oblivion by Derrick Henry. We had Dan Quinn, great defensive guy. When he got the coach for the Falcons, that defense was great one year and then just slowly got worse every single year. He only had 1 year with the Legion of Boom. That was great, and then he left and all that. So really, defense is kind of like a 1 year thing. If you can make it 1 year, that's kind of like magic. And if you can do it 2 or 3 plus years, I mean, you need to be goated. So we'll see if Dan Quinn can replicate this great defensive performance with this young gun cast that they have defensively, but the offense has to get better, and now they're kind of hinting that Amari Cooper's not going to be here next season. Offensive talent's going to get worse, and that's where Mike McCarthy needs to be better of developing the offense here of the Cowboys. So I think the Cowboys are going to get worse from this season to next season. I think they overperformed on what they they still underperformed. They underperformed at what they had, and now you're going to get exposed because we have tape on the defense and showing your scheme. You're going to maybe lose Amari Cooper, so overall your offense is going to be worse than what it was. So I'm not buying into Mike McCarthy at all. He should be fired. I would not keep this man another year. Always underperformed. Once again, I mean, just looking at what he did with Aaron Rodgers, always underperforming. And now we know a little bit that it has to do with Aaron Rodgers and not just the coaches, because Matt LaFleur can only get to, 13 wins, and only the NFC Championship game can't get to the Super Bowl. And I understand it takes more than just a coach to get to the Super Bowl. I do give, McCarthy a little bit more credit, seeing kind of, Aaron Rodgers still not get it done, because it's a little bit more of Aaron Rodgers than overall Mike McCarthy for that Packers team, on why they weren't able to kind of, get to the big game more than once and all that. So I do put more blame on Aaron Rodgers than I have in the past, but overall, Mike McCarthy is still not that leader that I want on my team. Look at Sean McVay, who just won the Super Bowl, and then look at Mike McCarthy. Which coach do y'all want? I mean, I don't even want what Mike McCarthy stands for as a head coach at my head coaching spot. So we'll see what this Cowboys team does this season, but Mike McCarthy feeling confident. And confidence kill the cat. Confidence kills the cat. Curiosity kills the cat. Everything kills the cat at the end of the day, folks. Stop being so like you can't get better. Like you can't keep getting better. That kills the cat, folks, okay? Stop being curious. Stop questioning. Stop questioning. Stop asking questions. Stop feeling so confident about your stance and all that, because it kills the cat at the end of the day. And Mike McCarthy, I think he's a little bit of a cat here and may not have a big lifespan left in the NFL. All right, what else do we got here? 3 quick stories here. We get Zach Taylor confirms Joe Burrow suffered an MCL sprain in the Super Bowl loss and is saying, quote, rest is going to be the best thing for him. So, this is great. Joe Burrow's great, fantastic quarterback and all that. But now we have to start to talk about his kind of health in this league. 2 years in, 2 injuries, one brutal, one ACL, able to come back for that one. MCL sprain, still probably would miss a few weeks if this was the regular season here. And I know it came at the end of the season and kind of, late in the game and all that, but now we're going to have to start, talking about, being there for the team and all that. So we'll keep an eye on that for Joe Burrow. Obviously, this is going to be kind of a narrative on him for basically the rest of his career until he has, like a 2 or 3 year stretch where he can go an entire season without getting injured or banged up or anything like that. But it's just something to keep in mind. Is Joe Burrow injury prone, and will we just see him kind of just keep maybe getting worse as we progress because these injuries are going to start kind of stacking on top of each other? But it's just an interesting kind of thing to keep in the back of our minds as we progress in the offseason, as we progress into next season's regular season. Can Joe Burrow stay healthy for an entire year? We'll see. And then another story with the Bengals here. Zach Taylor getting a contract extension through 2026. Fantastic. Just got done today. Definitely think he deserves it. I mean, what he's been able to do with this Bengals team, the turnaround and, getting Joe Burrow back to where he was before he got injured last season, and then getting to the Super Bowl and kind of overperforming, and the team just being better in the second half of games, usually for the most part, than they were in the first half. That just speaks to leadership and coaching. So obviously Zach Taylor deserves the contract extension through 2026, and we'll see if he can get back to the big game before his contract expires so he can get another contract extension here. But very well done to Zach Taylor. I think he definitely deserves it, and we'll see if he can kind of take this experience and learn from it and get better, so when the next time he does get there, he can win it, like exactly what Sean McVay did. Sean McVay got to a Super Bowl, learned things from that game and then turned it around and then got it done in this Super Bowl, especially in the second half, being pretty consistent there. So well done to Zach Taylor, truly deserved. And let's see if he's going to be a Sean McVay, gets to a Super Bowl, loses, gets back to there in a few years and wins it the second time around. Alrighty, and then the last thing to kind of touch on quickly here, folks, we heard Richard Sherman kind of have his take. The big take here after Matthew Stafford winning the Super Bowl is, hey, he's a Hall of Famer and all that. So, the big thing here is that you definitely need a ring to be in the conversation, honestly, for Hall of Fame. If you're ringless, it's going to take a lot. You're going to have to kind of be the best of your position, and you're going to have record after record after record if you don't have a ring. 1 ring gets you in the conversation. 2 rings really should be, hey, all right, now, yeah, we are leaning a little bit more towards the yes. Now let's see the accolades, the stats, and compare them to everybody else that's in there. So 1 ring gets you in the conversation, which is obviously why Matthew Stafford is in the conversation right now. But we hear from Richard Sherman, so let's see what he's saying here, and I agree with a lot of it, and we'll go from there. But this is what Richard Sherman says about Matthew Stafford being in the Hall of Fame. He says, quote, I'm going to talk about it on the podcast, but the Hall of Fame bar is incredibly low now, and that is exactly it, folks. I mean, I've said this at the beginning of the season, folks, that the Hall of Fame is super watered down, and we even floated out the idea. This is when I had one of my friends, Omar, on the show, and we floated out the idea of, hey, a Hall of the Elite, like a top 100 rolling list that maybe gets kind of voted on every single year. All right, who's the top 100 players? We still have the Hall of Fame, because the Hall of Fame, I mean, we do need something that kind of can transcend eras, because obviously, once again, just competition and technology and how to kind of condition your body, it's always just going to get increased. We're going to get more information, so we're going to get better athletes for better passing and better throws and all that, and the game is turning a little bit more towards offense, so we're getting better numbers compared to what we got in the 70s and 80s and 90s, obviously. So we do need kind of a Hall of Fame to kind of transcend that. Who was kind of the best at their time period, their era. But we also need kind of a, hey, who's like the best of the best? I mean, we love the greatest of all time discussion, and obviously that's Tom Brady, no debate. We don't need to debate that. That is that. But we do need kind of like a Hall of the Elite, something that's a little bit of a step above the Hall of Fame. Not get rid of the Hall of Fame. Everybody should still keep their gold jackets and the bust of them and still have the Hall of Fame museum. But we should have a rolling like top 100 greatest players, and we could take players out on a yearly basis and put them in and put them back in and add new players based on what people are doing now in 10 years down the line, where we're getting craziness that we can't even imagine that we would be getting. I mean, we're going to get something, folks. Nobody imagined that we'd have a Patrick Mahomes type quarterback at the 80s. So yes, we're going to be having something crazy in 2040, 2050 that, when we compare them to today's quarterbacks, we're like, oh my God, they're so much better in that. So we just need a rolling greatest 100 list that is kind of constantly updated. Now, I don't know how we kind of go about that and who votes on that and all that, but I do agree with Richard Sherman that the bar for the Hall of Fame is truly incredibly low, and that has something to do with, having, a lot of players in the 70s and 80s looking at their stats and comparing them to be like, well, if you put him in, you got to put him in because, I mean, the stats are better, new era and all that. So I do agree with Richard Sherman. Hall of Fame is a little bit watered down. Back to what he's saying like a participation trophy, and that is that's something interesting. I mean, y'all want to give, and this is going to be a point here, folks, y'all want to give Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame? Stop that. Y'all are not putting Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame and not Matthew Stafford. Stop that. He does not have a ring. Why do I care about Phillip Rivers always not coming up clutch in the playoff games? What? That's the Hall of Fame? Like exactly what Richard Sherman says. That's Hall of Fame? That's a participation trophy. Congratulations, you played in the league for 16 years. I think he's got 16 years in the league, Phillip Rivers. 17 years in the league. Congratulations, you never got injured. Congratulations, you played 17 seasons. That's what Phillip Rivers did. All of it is just longevity stats, which is still good. I'm not knocking longevity stats. Being longevity in the NFL is a huge accomplishment at regardless of whatever position you're playing. Because of injuries, they're crazy, they're freak accidents, and the fact that Phillip Rivers played 16 games for basically his entire career, I do give him credit for that. But he does not have the meaningful wins, folks. What is this man in the playoffs? We don't get playoff record? What the hell is that? Let me scroll down here. Playoff performances. I just want this man's record in the playoffs. Y'all are going to make me do it this way, huh? All right. Postseason game log career. What do we got? He's 5-7 in the playoffs. That's Hall of Fame worthy. 5-7 in the playoffs. You got Phillip Rivers on a good team. He did the Matthew Stafford thing. Well, the Chargers were always solid with Phillip Rivers. It was never as bad as, the Lions with Matthew Stafford. But, his final year, Phillip Rivers' final year, he goes to the Colts, who were primed to win a championship, and he still got bounced first round. Matthew Stafford goes to a good team. Year one, he wins the ring, folks. So stop with Phillip Rivers needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and Matthew Stafford doesn't deserve it. If you're putting in Phillip Rivers, you're putting in Matthew Stafford, all right? The only thing Phillip Rivers has on Matthew Stafford is the longevity stats. Matthew Stafford has only been in the league for 13 years. Phillip Rivers 17. So we get 4 more years of stats of Matthew Stafford playing at a high level, and then Phillip Rivers isn't even in the discussion of being a Hall of Fame quarterback. What do we have? What do we need from Matthew Stafford to compete statistically wise with Phillip Rivers? Let's get this up quickly here. Let's do the math. So we get Phillip Rivers. He's at 63,000 passing yards, where Matthew Stafford is at 50,000. So Phillip Rivers has 13,000 more yards in 4 more years. So what does Matthew Stafford need to do to catch that? 13,000 divided by 4, that's 3,200 yards a season. Yeah, Matthew Stafford can do that no problem. The man's putting up 4,000 consistently. He put up 2,400 yards in 2019 because he only played 8 games. The only year that he played every single game, 16 games, and didn't complete more than 4,000 yards was once in 2018. So yeah, Matthew Stafford's going to eclipse Phillip Rivers passing yards. I could definitely see this man playing 4 more years, absolutely. Phillip Rivers, how many more touchdowns? Phillip Rivers, 420 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, 320. So Phillip Rivers, 100 more touchdowns divided by 4 more years. That's 25 touchdowns a season. Well, he just had 41 this season, 26 to last season. So, if he still pairs with Sean McVay, he's going to be passing that, no doubt. And Phillip Rivers has 209 interceptions. Matthew Stafford has 161. So we got about 50 more interceptions by Phillip Rivers in 4 years. So that's about 12 and a half interceptions by Matthew Stafford a season. And that's kind of exactly where he's kind of averaging for a season, about 12. He just had 17 this season, a little bit high. Had, 2 in the Super Bowl. Ooh, yikes, a little bit there with Matthew Stafford. But either way you slice it, Matthew Stafford's going to be better than Phillip Rivers. So stop this Phillip Rivers deserves to be in there because of longevity stats. That's not impressive if you don't have the ring. So, if we're just going, if you're putting Phillip Rivers in, you're putting Matthew Stafford in. I don't think Matthew Stafford can be put in at the current moment. I would like to see him one more good year. Let's make sure that this man's actually good on a good team and not just kind of a one outlier season. The one big knock against Matthew Stafford in the Hall of Fame is his record. He is 85 and 95 and 1, or 86, 95 and 1. That's a losing record. That's a big old black mark. But once again, we have to kind of remember he was with the Lions that were really kind of giving him nothing around him to work with. And when he had Megatron, he did his thing. He broke records with Megatron. What was it? The highest combo quarterback wide receiver combo in yards with Matthew Stafford and Megatron. And then didn't he just break that this season with Cooper Kupp? So, yeah, you give him talent, and he could be great. We've seen that. But when you don't build around a quarterback, they're not going to be good. And that's not a knock on quarterbacks. It's just you can't get it done with just a quarterback. And Phillip Rivers has had help around him his entire career, folks. So I do give Matthew Stafford some credit here. He had a 10-6 season. I give him credit for that. An 11-5 season. And I even go as low as giving him credit for the 9-7 seasons. I still give him credit for that, given on what the organization and team around him look like. I obviously can't give him any credit for the 4-12, the 7-9, the 7-9, the 6-10, 3-4-1, 5-11 seasons. Can't give him credit for that, but I can give him, credit for about 5 seasons of being kind of good enough to get him some solid win totals. Just overall, the overall record is a little alarming. I mean, Phillip Rivers, what do we got him? He's 134 and 106. So, obviously, winning record there, fantastic. But Matthew Stafford can definitely get that. Matthew Stafford, what do you got wins-wise? He's about, let me subtract the wins here. 134 minus 86. Phillip Rivers, 48 more wins over a 4-year period. So we got to get Matthew Stafford about 12 wins a season. And they just went 12-5 this year. So Matthew Stafford, at the end of the day, if he plays, 17 seasons like Phillip Rivers did, and I can definitely see that happening, Matthew Stafford is going to be passing or having the same stats as Phillip Rivers and a ring. So stop with the Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame. That's how we know it is truly watered down. So I give Matthew Stafford the Hall of Fame nod. If he gets one more ring, I can put him in there. Or if he has really solid 4 years quarterback play where he's, putting up 12 wins a season and he can match Phillip Rivers' yardage totals and all of his stat totals, then I would put Matthew Stafford in the Hall of Fame. All right, let's keep going here with what Richard Sherman's kind of saying. No all-decade team, no all-pro, no MVP, one Pro Bowl, not even an MVP of the Super Bowl, and that is true. Never considered the best in any year he played. At least Matt Ryan has an MVP. He did something spectacular. It's really a macrocosm of his career. Did good, not great, made a few wild passes, made a few facepalm passes. Aaron Donald and Von Miller are the two Hall of Famers he should thank. Yeah, Aaron Donald, definitely a Hall of Famer. Von Miller, I would like to have the debate, the discussion. But yeah, that is right by Richard Sherman. I mean, we're going to watch it in the film study. I mean, Matthew Stafford made some bad throws. The interception, the first one where he bombed it and underthrew the ball, we saw that all season by Matthew Stafford, but we did get the huge clutch as hell that everybody loves, the no-look pass. We get this, the no-look pass that everybody would be gushing if Patrick Mahomes made. We get Matthew Stafford, and this was to like win the game. Like, this was in pursuit of winning the game, last possession in the Super Bowl, and he makes this pass. Like, yeah, we know this man can be absolutely great. He makes some bad throws, but that's what quarterbacks do. They make some bad throws trying to have the big play. That's why Aaron Rodgers can only get to one Super Bowl on great teams with great coaches, because he doesn't try to take those shots, because he knows it's a big face palm moment, like Richard Sherman just says. When he had that interception in the end zone at the end of the first half, that's a big old face palm, like, oh, here we go. Matthew Stafford, trying to force it down the field, face palm throw. And Aaron Rodgers knows that, hey, that's always going to be a big black mark on the Hall of Fame debate, greatest of all time debate. So Aaron Rodgers just doesn't make those throws to avoid the face palm potentially. But you don't risk it, you don't get no biscuit. And Aaron Rodgers has only one biscuit, the same amount of biscuits as Matthew Stafford, who's face palming throws. So yes, I don't mind the face palm throws if you get it done in the clutch. And that's exactly what Matthew Stafford did in the Super Bowl. Magnificent, no look pass, Cooper Kupp. What's that, third down? Man, got him into field goal range. Not that they needed a touchdown still, but got them closer to the end zone so that he could make the touchdown throw, right? All right, what else do we get here by Richard Sherman? There is no measuring stick that makes Stafford a Hall of Famer other than playing in the most passer-happy decade in the NFL history. Inflated numbers make every quarterback that starts 10-plus years a Hall of Famer. Exactly why we cannot give Phillip Rivers the Hall of Fame nod. You didn't do anything in the playoffs. That's nothing good. At least Matthew Stafford, finally he's on a good team, and he gets to the Super Bowl. He wins every playoff game. No problem, really. And then the last thing here by Richard Sherman, he gets his day, brother, but just throwing around Hall of Fame just like that irks me. So many had to be the most dominant to make it, and that's exactly it. At the end of the day, the moral of the story is the Hall of Fame is watered down. So let's have a Hall of Fame. Let's honor the greatness during eras, the longevity. We can honor that there, but let's get a Hall of the Elite going. Hall of the Elite. Top 100 players of all time. And we can vote them in and vote them out. Just because you get voted out doesn't mean you can get back in. As we're, tracking and kind of, narrativizing how seasons played out, and now comparing, now that we've got, now he's on a new team, actually a good team, and he's actually good. How does that impact the top 100? Now, is he better than this? Is he better than him? Can we vote him in? Do we vote him out? And then next season, this was a one and done season. All right, we vote him out, and we vote this other player back in. It really should be a constant conversation at the top 100 greatest players of all time. It could be the GOAT list, it could be the Hall of the Elite list, whatever you want, but you get in the Hall of Fame, and then you're eligible for the Hall of the Elite top 100, and once again, it's just a rolling cycle. So that's Hall of Fame debate for Matthew Stafford. You get one more ring, I could definitely kind of say, yeah, you're in the Hall of Fame. But if you don't get another ring, we need some good stats to go along with that one ring. And Richard Sherman did put it right. I mean, this is probably the best point of Richard Sherman right here. Which one was it? Kind of like inflated numbers make every quarterback that starts 10 plus years a Hall of Famer. And especially this one right here. Maybe where is it? Right here. No all-decade team, no all-pro, no MVP, only one Pro Bowl, and never considered the best in any year he played. That is true. When was Matthew Stafford the best quarterback of the year? He doesn't really have one. So I do agree that is probably the biggest knock on keeping Matthew Stafford out of the Hall of Fame. That he's just never been the best of his year. We've got the best of Aaron Rodgers. He's been the best quarterback for a year. Tom Brady's been the best quarterback for a year. Patrick Mahomes has already been the best quarterback for a year. We haven't gotten that from Matthew Stafford. So if he can get that in one of his final seasons upcoming, absolutely, we can give him the nod, but until then, I still like the discussion. I love the discussion. Y'all keep discussing. I'm discussing. I'm seeing what y'all are saying, and I think it's a good debate right now. I don't think it's really clear-cut one way or the other whether he should or should not be in the Hall of Fame, but I love the discussion. I love the points, and that's what we do here, and that's what y'all love to hear. That's why there is sports talk, because people love listening to sports talk. I love listening to sports talk. Even though I do my own sports talk show, I still love listening and hearing what y'all are saying. So, Takes by Fans, that's the name of the show. I want to hear what everybody's saying. So, Richard Sherman does break up a few good points, but I saw y'all ready to put Phillip Rivers into the Hall of Fame as soon as he lost to that Buffalo game last year in the playoffs, which was absolutely absurd. He just lost a playoff game, which he really should have won. Ball in his hands at the end of the game, like Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. Ball in his hands at the end of the game, and what does he do? Wins it. What does Phillip Rivers do? Can't even win a wild card game in Buffalo. And y'all want to make that a Hall of Famer? Laughable. Stop it with the Phillip Rivers. Will you please stop? All right. So we'll see if Matthew Stafford gets in the Hall of Fame. We'll see if he gets another ring, and we'll see if Sean McVay retires. And then kind of, because if Sean McVay retires and then Matthew Stafford's still on this team and is not as good, and then, yeah, maybe he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But so many things to kind of work out, so many variables that can go wrong, go right. So we'll keep an eye on it, but I don't believe it's set in stone at the current moment whether MVP or a Hall of Fame or not. Alrighty, those were all the stories I just wanted to touch upon for today, so now let's get to it, folks. Our final film study of the season. One of the favorite things that we love to do on the show, watching the film, watching the throws, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be focusing big time in the second half here, and, once again, Joe Burrow, they were in control of this game, folks. First drive out of halftime, the play that broke big. Yes, it should have been a penalty. Unfortunate. That's why, this game was a little bit frustrating. I do think the Bengals maybe should have won at the end of the day. That penalty call in the red zone that kind of extended that Rams touchdown drive on third down. Let me get it right here. What was it? The holding penalty? Where's the holding penalty? Holding penalty right here. 3rd and goal. The holding penalty on the Bengals 8-yard line. That's a bad call, but so was the no call on the T. Higgins. So it's hard to kind of argue bad calls because both bad calls resulted into 7 points at the end of the day. The T. Higgins 75-yard pass that should have been a face mask or offensive pass interference or offensive holding, or you could have thrown 12 flags on that play. Unnecessary roughness. You got to throw in everything on that play. But then, it's just, this one is a little bit more frustrating because it came in the final 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, when you don't really have any time to kind of make up for that call and all that. So, I hate whistles in big games. I hate whistles in big spots, but overall they do kind of, balance each other out. Truly unfortunate there. But overall, the Bengals were in the driver's seat right here, throwing it to T. Higgins, and it breaks big, and it goes for the touchdown, and then on the next drive, Matthew Stafford throws another interception, but the Bengals could only get a field goal, and then they had a punt, and not really picking up any first downs here. So Joe Burrow, always cool, always calm, collected, will always come up and show out in the big moments, in the big games. Doesn't matter when or where or who, he gets it done. The big throws, we saw it against the Chiefs, twice in, regular season in the AFC Championship game. But when it came down time in the Super Bowl to get it done, the man didn't make any big-time throws, and he kind of floundered a little bit. And I think that was like the worst Joe Burrow we've seen after talking all that stuff and wearing the sunglasses and smoking the cigars and playing into the narrative. Hey, I'm kind of the big cheese over here. I'm cool. I'm kind of got some swag to me. I'm the big cheese here. And he let the cheese, kind of overtake him a little bit. Can't let the cheese overtake you, my man. You got to stay true to yourself. So we're going to watch the film and be a little bit disappointed in Joe Burrow. We'll watch kind of the big third downs of why you couldn't pick them up. And this one is the most egregious one right here. And this one is going to be crazy, but we'll show you. And this is where I lose a little bit of respect for Joe Burrow. 3rd and 13, and he shorts it. Ooh, it's bad. It's bad, folks. I don't know if y'all can recall this play instantly. 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter, 3rd and 13 on their own 22-yard line. But it's a real bad throw, folks. Real bad, real big time bad, folks. And then we'll watch the Bengals defense in the red zone when they gave up that scoring touchdown. Come on, we know the Bengals defense locks it up in the red zone. And once again, they only gave up 10 points in the second half. That's pretty good defensively, folks. You give up only 3 points in the second half, you win the game 20-16. You gave up only that one touchdown in the second half. You tied the game 20-20, and we're going into overtime, and who knows what happens then. But you gave up the 2 scores, which they haven't really been doing that much. And, big time scenarios. Once again, those 2 Chiefs games where they only held them to 3 points. That's big time defense there. And they almost did the same thing against this Rams team. But that, defensive holding penalty gives them an extra set of downs. And, covering for, 3 straight plays in the red zone, it's tough. But when you extend that to like 6 or 7 plus, it's almost impossible to kind of stop for 7 straight plays. And that's exactly what happened. They couldn't stop it for 7 straight plays. So let's watch some film here. And let's, let's just see kind of Joe Burrow and this Bengals defense letting us down. We've got the big-time throws by Matthew Stafford, the no-look pass that is absolutely incredible, and, yeah, some plays to talk about. So let's start here from the third quarter. Let's watch the big play by Jamar Chase. Let's get this going. Let's watch the penalty. Let's watch it in real time here. Here we go. This is a 3rd and 13. This is not what we're watching. Are we going to have to refresh this? You're going to make me refresh this? What do we got going on? They're going to make me refresh and make me sign back in. I already know. Classic. This is the last time that we have to, work with this garbage website for the entire year, which is the best thing. If y'all don't clean this up next season, folks, so help me goodness, you are not getting my $100. I will not put up with this garbage website. Luckily, they didn't make us sign back in, so that's great. But still made us refresh the page, and now this is all wonky. This is scrolling down with us, but we'll make do, no worries. All right, here we go. The Jamar T. Higgins, big 75-yard pass, first play of the second half. We get play action by Joe Burrow. Pressure is there, but steps up in the pocket, navigates the pocket, then launches it, lets it rip, being aggressive. And well done by just giving the receiver the chance there. And that's what we've loved from Joe Burrow all year long, and why we've loved this Bengals offense all year long, and why Jamar Chase was so gosh dang good, because Joe Burrow gave that man a chance. When there was ever a one-on-one matchup, he really always took that chance, whether it was Jamar Chase, whether it was T. Higgins, whether it was CJ Uzomah, whoever it was. One-on-one matchup, he's going to throw the ball. He threw the ball here to T. Higgins. It broke big because T. Higgins, a little bit of pass interference on him. But overall, you have to give Joe Burrow a credit for putting the ball on the money, allowing T. Higgins to go and make a play. It's unfortunate that the defense and just the way that Jalen Ramsey just gets thrown to the ground here. I know Jalen Ramsey's a great corner and one of the greatest corners in the league at the current moment. You can put him number 1. But, he did get burned by Mike Evans late in the game against the Bucs when the Bucs were trying to make that comeback. Didn't get burned here, but got thrown down to the ground like a rag doll a little bit. I mean, just look at this man kind of like, the man's flying 5 yards out of the face mask. And I get it. It's a penalty and all that. But, still, can Jalen Ramsey kind of beef himself up a little bit? He does kind of get tossed around there, all right? So, Jalen Ramsey, maybe beef it up a little bit. Maybe be a little bit more aggressive. And kind of, I know it's hard because it would be a pass interference, but it's just not a good look getting thrown to the ground like this. But shout out to Joe Burrow for giving his receivers a chance, and that's where quarterbacks really kind of flounder. They don't allow their playmakers to make the big plays. If there's a one-on-one matchup, I'm taking that all day long, especially in the red zone. That's what I only throw. I have two wide receivers, one on the left and one on the right, and whichever one's on the one-on-one matchup, that's what I'm taking. That's what I'm throwing. 4 straight times. Back, end zone, fade. One-on-one matchup. I'm trusting my guys every single time. So that's the one thing that truly impressed me all year long by Joe Burrow, coming back off the injury, trusting a rookie wide receiver that he has history with, trusting, 6'4" T. Higgins. Yes, sir. Why are you not trusting that? So I give a ton of credit to Joe Burrow on that. Unfortunately, he let us down later in the game. Not because he wasn't trusting his receivers, but on how he was throwing the ball. So that's the big play that went deep, and it is a penalty, folks. Definitely face mask and definitely all that. And then let's watch this interception by Matthew Stafford on the following drive. This really, I thought, was going to be the turning point for the Bengals. Exactly what we were saying all week leading up to this game. Hey, this Bengals team, they're so much better in the second half defensively than what they are in the first half. And they come out and score the touchdown. Now they're up 17-13. Following drive by Matthew Stafford. Going to try to fire this one over the middle of the field. And that was a good throw. This was not out in front. We could take this one from the end zone angle, but the receiver, I don't know what the hell he was doing. I mean, just kind of like slipping out of the break and didn't get both hands on it, tips the ball up, and it falls into the hands of the Bengals defense. And that's what the defense of this Bengals team has been living and dying by all year long. It wasn't Eli Apple covering everybody fantastically, but it was this defense being in the right position at the right time of making the big plays. And we saw that all playoffs long, and we saw it here in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they couldn't lock it down when it truly mattered. But leading up to it right here, I mean, this ball's not overthrown. This ball's right where it needs to be. Just the receiver only got one hand on it and batted it right into the defender's hands of the Bengals. But this is where we start to get the downfall of the Bengals. As soon as it went good, the touchdown, the interception, all within like 30 seconds of the start of the second half. But then they settled for the field goal here. So let's see why they settled for the field goal. And then they weren't able to pick up a first down for really the rest of the game. So let's focus in on this Bengals team and why they stalled on these drives. So here we go. Let's take it right here. This is the drive after the interception. They go for it on 4th down. Fantastic. But then we get a 2-yard run, a 5-yard pass, and then a 9-yard sack. So let's take it on the 2nd and 8, 5-yard pass here. Let's bring this one back into the broadcast, and let's see what Joe Burrow is doing with this football here. They're inside the red zone, 2nd and 8 at the Rams 16-yard line, and they're floundering. Why? You cannot do this. What do we preach all year long, folks? Make your opponent pay for their mistakes, and if you don't make them pay off the interceptions, a la Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, NFC Championship game last year, Tom Brady throws 3 interceptions, and Aaron Rodgers still doesn't get the win, and Aaron Rodgers still can't get to a second Super Bowl because he can't make Tom Brady pay. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time can't punch in 7 points and have to settle for 3. I mean, come on. Or 0 points. Come on. All right, here we go. Joe Burrow on 2nd and 8. What do you got for us? Is he dinking and dunking? What do we got? Here we go. In the red zone. Joe Burrow, 4 wide, back in the backfield. Here we go. Just gets it out quickly here. And it goes for about 5 yards. So kind of set up wide receiver screen, get the ball out of his hands quickly here, and that's fine. We know, the Rams were bringing pressure all game long. They got to Joe Burrow. I think they had 7 sacks in this game. Is that correct? Let's quickly count the sacks right here for this Rams team. I want to say it was 7. And let's also shout out some defensive players for the Rams. Once again, we're just kind of focusing in on the Rams or the Bengals offense and the Bengals defense a little bit, but, obviously the Rams defense getting the pressure. Fantastic. But we had Ernest Jones, a sack. Sean Robinson, a sack. We had Leonard Floyd, a sack. We had Aaron Donald with 2. We had Von Miller with 2. So we had 2, 4, 6, 7 sacks right there. So getting the ball out of his hands quickly right there, setting up a 3rd and short, this is great. But now on 3rd and 3, they can't quite get it done. Let's see what Joe Burrow does with this ball right here. Dropping back to pass. Pressure, right backed into him. No time to throw this ball. Here we go. We got the snap. 1 Mississippi. 2. There it is. 2 seconds. If that's even 2 seconds, I think it went a little bit quick there. I'm talking like 1.789 seconds right there. And they're already backing right into Joe Burrow. So no real chance here to throw the ball. No real chance to throw the ball. And Jamar Chase is open. You could fit this ball in here. This is decently open. I think Joe Burrow can fit it in there. But he's not even looking over there, and the pressure's there already. So well done for that Rams defense, forcing only the 3-point field goal attempt that did hit after Matthew Stafford throws the interception. All right, now let's take it on the Rams following drive here where they score a field goal. They march for 4 minutes, 17 seconds, 52 yards, and they settle for a field goal. But let's watch this Rams defense lock it up here as they kind of approach the red zone. The best thing about this Bengals defense, locking it up in the red zone when it truly matters. Obviously, yes, it got exposed in the final drive and all that. But overall, for the most part, keeping the games close and what they did in the playoffs and all that. But here we go. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line, and this is their final 3 plays on why they have to settle for a field goal here. So let's watch Matthew Stafford and this Bengals defense on why they could not score a touchdown here to kind of tie up the game and make it still a little bit competitive heading into the 4th quarter. So here we go. We get Matthew Stafford just a comeback route, and they give up something short, only allow about 4, 5, 6 yards, and brings up 2nd and 3. Here we go. Once again, approaching the red zone at the 21-yard line here. Matthew Stafford, they're going to hand off the ball. The Bengals defense, bango, blowing it up in the backfield. Love to see it. And that's definitely something the Bengals kind of got away from a little bit here. We saw Joe Mixon truly be great. 15 rushes for 72 yards, but, got a little bit away from the running game a little bit. And that's exactly what you want to do in the Super Bowl, slow down the game, especially when you got, a Rams-type team where the offense can be high-flying. They can go down and score no problem, and the defense can obviously, get after the quarterback, Joe Burrow. So, run the ball a little bit, keep the defense on their toes, and I think they just kind of got away from it a little bit in the second half. Unfortunate. But here we go. All right, on 3rd and 5, how does this Bengals team get the stop? Here we go. 3rd and 5. Matthew Stafford, can he make a clutch throw here, pick up the first down, keep this touchdown drive alive? And they hand it off, and then it's a double reverse. We get Cooper Kupp throwing a pass to Matthew Stafford and overthrows it. And a little bit of a, Tom Brady thing where Tom Brady couldn't quite hold onto the ball. Nobody was knocking Matthew Stafford or memeing Matthew Stafford like they were memeing Tom Brady. Tom Brady lost that Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford still won this one, so maybe that's why. But Cooper Kupp, we all praise him for being a great wide receiver, but this man cannot throw the ball at all. Now, was this going to succeed? Let's quickly see. Was Matthew Stafford wide open? Oh, yeah, you catch this ball. He's picking up the first down, but he's getting hammered. He's going to get hammered by that defender. But overall, Cooper Kupp couldn't really quite get it. And, here we go. We get a kind of outsmarting the room here play by Sean McVay. So, Sean McVay, I love him as a head coach, play caller. We see him get a little bit too cute here and there. And this was kind of the one cute play right here. It could, you're a genius if you hit it. Not so much of a genius if you don't hit it. And that's exactly what we got right here. Not that much of a genius because it didn't hit. And once again, on 3rd and 5, you trust Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, but in the reverse situation, have Cooper Kupp be the receiver, have Matthew Stafford be the passer. Why switch it up in a big-time kind of big-time play right here that truly could have affected the entire outcome of the game? So, all right, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, more on Sean McVay a little bit, play calling there. All right, but now we're going to get Punt-a-Palooza here. We got pumped by the Bengals, pumped by the Rams, pumped by the Bengals, pumped by the Rams, pumped by the Bengals, pumped by the Rams, pumped by the Bengals. Nobody's even picking up first downs here. So let's watch the crucial 3rd downs. We get a 3rd and 13. This is the Bengals 3rd and 13, and this is the most egregious throw of the entire game. And this is really why Joe Burrow lost the game right here. You don't pick up this first down after the Rams score 3 points. You have no momentum and all that. Throw all that momentum out the window, and here it is on 3rd and 13 at their own 22-yard line. Joe Burrow dropping back to pass, steps up in the pocket, and we get Ja'Marr Chase on a comeback route, and this ball is about 2 yards underthrown by Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, who's got a clean as heck pocket, who's stepping into this throw, who nobody's even around him to pressure him to make this throw, just ducks it. That ball is an absolute duck coming out of his hands, and this is wide open. Ja'Marr Chase is wide open on the comeback route. That's a first down if you strike it in there. But he underthrows the ball, and we have we seen Joe Burrow underthrow a ball like this all year long? Nothing's coming to mind. So in the biggest scenarios, in the second half of the Super Bowl, pressure got to Joe Burrow a little bit. Joe Cool, not as cool as maybe we all once thought. That's a big time miss and inexcusable in the Super Bowl. You cannot be kind of hailed as one of the greatest quarterbacks of a season and then go and miss this throw? Come on, Joe. Come on. That's absolutely atrocious. Man, oh man, big time bad. And let me just double check one more time that this wasn't tipped. I'm like 99% sure this was not tipped, folks. This was not influenced. I think he just missed it, folks. That ball, that's just a miss of a throw. Is this tipped? This is not tipped. No, folks? Let me zoom in. Zoom in on this. I don't know what the hell happens to that ball. Did we just catch the NFL putting a remote chip in a ball? Because this ball, I don't understand how it just falls like that. That's a little weird that it just plummets at the end. But overall, Joe Burrow, that's a big-time misthrow right there. And that's a big old black mark on, his overall resume. And I think teams need to be talking about it a little bit more. Everybody's focusing on kind of the spin down throw, the final throw, almost getting there and having Ja'Marr Chase wide open on that throw. We get the picture right here, the final throw of the game before, as Joe Burrow's getting tossed down, we see once again Jalen Ramsey getting beat on a big time throw. I mean, we've seen this a lot by Jalen Ramsey, folks. So, and that would have went for a touchdown to Ja'Marr Chase. But that's a big time miss there by Joe Burrow. That's absolutely inexcusable. All right, now the Rams following possession, they have to punt the ball. We get 3rd and 7, and we get Matthew Stafford getting taken down for a sack here. So let's watch this Bengals defense get to Matthew Stafford at the 50-yard line. Empty backfield, Matthew Stafford trying to climb the pocket, and he just goes down. Big-time pressure right up the middle. Can't step up in the pocket, and Matthew Stafford goes down. Bengals defense locking it up in the second half. They locked it up, and I know y'all can kind of say, well, they gave up, the big one at the end, and that's fine. They did. They beefed it at the end of the game. But the Bengals defense truly was helping out all game long, and Joe Burrow not chewing any time off the clock. I mean, both these teams were going like 3 and out consistently. So, I mean, one team has a nice kind of 7-minute drive. That's probably the winner right here. And the Rams kind of had it at the end of the game, 4.5 minutes to kind of put up that final touchdown. Alrighty, next following Bengals possession, we get a 3rd and 22. Let's take the 2nd and 12. Why he got sacked. Joe Burrow getting sacked for 10 yards, setting up the big 3rd down that, kind of a lost cause at that point. But on 2nd and 12, Joe Burrow dropping back to pass, escaped out of the pocket immediately, and we know Joe Burrow is not athletic. He is not athletic like that. You're getting brought down, bud. So on 2nd and 12, once again, just kind of abandoned the running game, and I know it's hard to run on 2nd and 12. I get it, but, going against this defense when you're already behind the sticks to kind of ease up the pressure a little bit more, maybe would have been the smarter decision. But once again, we're not going to try and knock the play calling on kind of hindsight and all that. Sets up a 3rd and 22. We get Joe Burrow, empty backfield, pump fake, and then goes to who was that? T. Higgins on the other side, and just gets a couple of yards, but that's just, just giving in at that moment, and, I agree with that. Can't really do anything on 3rd and 22, but that sets up the Rams' next drive, and we get a 3rd and 7, and Matthew Stafford, pass incomplete, once again at midfield. Last time at midfield, he takes a sack, half the punt. Now on 3rd and 7, Matthew Stafford, incomplete pass, once again, empty backfield here. Matthew Stafford dropping back the pass, letting the ball go, and just a little bit overthrown. This was a pretty good ball here by Matthew Stafford to try to fit it in. really quickly. Man, oh man, that's a really solid throw where only the receiver can get it. So I give Matthew Stafford a ton of credit for this ball. This is the balls that we love to see thrown right here, giving a receiver a chance, and unfortunately the receiver just could only get about one hand on this ball, about one fingertip on this ball. Man, oh man, just couldn't really reel it in, but Matthew Stafford gave, I believe that's Von Jefferson Von Jefferson gave him a chance to make a big play. So that's a great throw by Matthew Stafford. Just overall, Von Jefferson couldn't quite reel it in. So I give credit to Matthew Stafford on that throw. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful ball right there. Man, oh man. Speaks to his, Hall of Fame resume if you want. I'd give him, that's a big time throw that just unfortunately did not get complete. Alrighty, next drive here by this Bengals team. We get a 2nd and 9 incomplete, and then a 3rd and 9 20-yard sack. Jeez Louise. Here we go. Joe Burrow. Is he beefing it big time on this drive? Here we go. Drops back to pass. Tries to fit it in there tightly, and the ball is just dropped. That's a good ball by Joe Burrow to fit it in there. Tight window that we know Joe Burrow can fit the ball in, but the receiver just not being able to hold onto this ball. T. Higgins got to catch that. That ball's right in the hands. Damn. So incomplete pass there, sets up 3rd and 9 now, and now he's going to take a sack. Let's see how. Joe Burrow dropping back to pass, pressure immediately right up the middle. Man, oh man, this Rams defense is the real deal. We all know this. Man, oh man. Oh, wow. So Joe Burrow gets brought down for the sack right there. Not great. Have to punt the ball. Rams next drive, they have to punt the ball because of a 3rd and 4 pass incomplete. Damn, another one? Let's see, was Matthew Stafford on the point. Once again, 5 wide here. Empty backfield for the Rams. Dropping back to pass, and Matthew Stafford a little bit incomplete, a little bit too high. And once again, these receivers not named Cooper Kupp cannot make any play on the ball right here. Von Jefferson can't get kind of more than fingertips on it. And then this one is a little bit more on Matthew Stafford than the receiver. Little bit too high, and that one is incomplete. Bengals, another chance, still in the lead, folks. Still up 20-16. Here we go. Bengals, next drive. Final drive before the Rams go out on top here. Here we go. Let's take the 3rd and 9. Here we go. 3rd and 9. Approaching midfield right here. 3rd and 9. Joe Burrow empty backfield this time. Joe Burrow make a big play. 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Up 20-16. 4-point lead. Make a play, Joe Burrow. And man, oh man, the receiver drops the ball. This is wide open. This is going for a 1st down. Joe Burrow hits it perfectly, but the receiver felt the pressure and just let the ball go right out of his hands. Knew that he was about to take a big shot by a defender coming down on him, and he drops the ball, but he catches this ball one inch away from picking up the 1st down. So just have to stay on your feet for a little bit, absorb the hit, but he can't do it. So Joe Burrow puts it right on the money right there. Unfortunately, the receiver felt the pressure, and you can't do that. You can't drop the ball because you know you're going to get hit. That's why you are a receiver. You know you're going to get hit. I know you're going over the middle, but you got to hold on to that ball. All right, now let's finally watch this Bengals defense try to lock it up in the red zone right here. Let's watch all the plays from the red zone. There is a lot of them, folks. So here we go. Officially in the red zone right here. We get a 2nd and 2, 16-yard line by the Bengals here. Here we go. Matthew Stafford. They hand off the ball, and it picks up the 1st down. Alrighty, a new set of downs here. 1st and goal from the 8. Bengals play number 1 on 1st and goal. Here we go. Matthew Stafford dropping back to pass, and he's going in the back of the end zone and just misses it. Matthew Stafford so 50-50 a little bit in some big-time throws. That's wide open in the back of the end zone. Man, oh man, Bengals got a little bit lucky on that one. End result is still the same. Gave up a touchdown. Gave it up a little bit later, though. Here we go. Matthew Stafford tipped at the line right there, batted down. Bengals defense getting, moving the pressure right to Matthew Stafford and getting their hands up, knocking it down. Then we get the 3rd and goal. Should have been an offsides, a false start by the Rams offensive line, but they throw a defensive holding, give the Rams a new set of downs here. Here we go, 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Matthew Stafford dropping back to pass, throws it, and man, oh man, Cooper Kupp catches a touchdown. There's a flag on the play. Does that negate it, or they just call incomplete? Did they call incomplete on that? Was that incomplete? What was that all about? That looked like Cooper Kupp caught that ball. Did he just not catch that? Incomplete to Cooper Kupp. Did he not hold on to the ball? That's a big ass shot that he took right there. I want to see where did this ball come out at? Or did he just not catch it? Let's watch this one again. Here we go. Matthew Stafford buying time and finding Cooper Kupp. I mean, that's a beautiful throw. And man, oh man, what a shot taken there. Man, oh man. Did he just come out of bounds? Man, oh man. Let's watch it. Can we watch this from the end zone angle? Because that's a beautiful throw. I mean, Matthew Stafford, he did miss that big wide open throw in the back of the end zone, but this throw right here, man, oh man, this is what we saw from Matthew Stafford all year long. Once again, what Richard Sherman said, the face palm throws, but then the oh my God throws. And this is an oh my God throw right here. Cooper Kupp, I mean, that's a small ass window to fit that ball into. Is this right here? Where did we miss this? I think we're a little bit behind. All right, let's go to this one. All right, here we go. I believe this is the throw right here. Here we go. Matthew Stafford in the back of the end zone to Cooper Kupp. Wow, throw. Buying time, throws that. Man, oh man, he didn't get 2 feet down. Man, oh man, he got blasted. Sheesh. Man, oh man, that Bengals defense, folks, it makes some big plays, and that was a huge play right there. Just got bodied out of bounds. All right. But the penalty, what they call the penalty on? What is this penalty? Another penalty right here. The official penalty. Here it is. Incomplete to Cooper Kupp. Defensive pass interference. Really? All right. I don't know if I agree. All right, so here we go. Matthew Stafford after the first down here. Here we go. Let's get to here. Here we go. All right. Hang on. I'm sorry. I think I'm behind a play. Hang on. So the play to Cooper Kupp in the back of the end zone, what was that penalty? We had touchdown nullified, offensive holding, 1st and goal from the 4, and unnecessary roughness. 2 penalties, offsetting, lame. All right, unnecessary roughness, that's a big hit. That's not unnecessary roughness. I don't agree with that. That's hey, he caught the ball. I need to knock this man out of the end zone. What are you, crazy? That's not unnecessary roughness. But should have been a holding call. Backs up the Rams 10 yards. But once again, shouldn't have been a penalty, or should have been a penalty on the T. Higgins touchdown call. So I know it's hard. It's just unfortunate. These ones are more annoying because they're at the final 2 minutes in the red zone and all that. But here we go. 1st and goal. Matthew Stafford rolling out to the right. Fires it in. Cooper Kupp can't make the catch, but they throw a penalty. Now brings up 1st and goal again from the 1-yard line this time. Here we go. Matthew Stafford under center. Can't quite get it. Bengals defense coming up big time on the goal line. 2nd and goal from the 1 again. Matthew Stafford under center. 1-step fade, and there is the touchdown. Trusting Cooper Kupp. And man, oh man, this... Just watch Cooper Kupp right here because it's masterful, folks. He absolutely plays Eli Apple. Watch him off the line right here. This is brilliant by Cooper Kupp, and this is probably why, him and Tyreek Hill, I still don't know which one I want to call greatest receiver in the NFL just quite yet. We call it 1A, 1B, however you want to slice it. But this is why right here. Cooper Kupp, here he goes. He knows this one's coming to him. It's a one-on-one matchup. Matthew Stafford's going to throw the 50-50 ball, but you want a little bit more room on the edge right here. So Cooper Kupp's first move off the line is in, and then that fake jab step in even more. Opens up so much more space toward the sideline. And, I mean, all that space to work with. Gets 2 feet down in bounds because he was able to kind of, hey, I'm going left, psych, I'm going right, and all that open field. And that's the game-winning touchdown right there by Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp for the Rams. Absolutely brilliant. And then here we go. Let's watch the final plays by Joe Burrow to round it all out here. The last final 4 downs, down 3 points, 2 timeouts left, minute 19, and they're at the Rams 42-yard line. Play number 1 of the final 4 plays. Joe Burrow slings that ball in there. Bingo, bango to Tyler Boyd, who dropped the other ball. But slings that one in there, picks up 9 yards. 2nd and 1. Here we go. Joe Burrow going deep in. A little bit too deep right there. Alrighty. Not on the same page. Him and Jamar Chase way overthrown, no chance at a completion. Brings up 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. Here we go. They're going to hand it off, and Aaron Donald says, no. That was all Aaron Donald. Man, oh, man. Woof, woof. I know Cooper Kupp got Super Bowl MVP, but, Aaron Donald, and I know they never love it to give to any defensive player, and we need to change that. Can we stop? I know the NFL is an offensive league, but can we just stop giving every MVP and Super Bowl MVP to the offensive guys? Come on, Aaron Donald, what a wrecker in this game. Brings up 4th and 1, and then he's going to have the game-deciding play right here. 4th and 1, Joe Burrow dropping back to pass. Pressure got there immediately. Swung down, still got the ball out of his hands. Joe Mixon couldn't quite make it. And once again, this picture right here of Jamar Chase wide open now, burning Jalen Ramsey in a big-time spot. Jalen Ramsey giving up. He's locked down, when it never matters, but when there's pressure on the line, Jalen Ramsey kind of gives it up a little bit, folks, okay? All right, so, Joe Mixon couldn't quite bring it home, and that's how it ends. Joe Burrow getting tossed to the ground, truly unfortunate, so overall, Joe Burrow has some blame here, some missed throws and all that. Receivers have some blame here. Defense has some blame. Everything just kind of collapsed here. Nobody could pull it out in the clutch. Joe Burrow couldn't be clutch. Tyler Boyd couldn't be clutch. Eli Apple sure as hell couldn't be clutch. Unfortunate there. But shout out to Matthew Stafford in the red zone. He was slinging that ball around and making some huge game-winning, Super Bowl-winning throws. So at the end of the day, Matthew Stafford and the Rams went out and won this game at the end of the day, and we give them all credit for that. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, defense, Aaron Donald especially, and just Joe Burrow he was not making those same throws that Matthew Stafford was making, and it's unfortunate, and that's why they end up with the loss here. Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for us today. Putting a nice little bow on the Super Bowl. He's starting to kind of, exit the NFL season. And all that. So tomorrow on the show, probably focusing in on the NFL and the NBA. Waiting till Friday when we have more time in the show to truly break down what our final predictions heading into the season and seeing where we missed and where we got it right. So back live tomorrow around noon Eastern, folks, doing all the good things, seeing what NFL news breaks as we are off for about 23 hours. So we're back live tomorrow, folks, doing it all again. Hopefully you'll join us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We got to get out of here, folks, so we'll be back tomorrow. But we are out of here. Have a great one. All righty, folks.